All right, so progress report. I spent the evening here working on the boat. I'll show you what I got. Still 40 degrees, but it's getting warm quick, so we gotta get moving on this thing. So I've been working on the front deck. That's gonna take the most time. That's gonna be the hardest part of this build. The floor system, the back part, that's gonna be a cakewalk. That's not gonna be that big of a deal. The front deck, getting that all lined out with the storage and just everything, that's gonna take time. So show you what I got. So here's what I ended up with. I ended up coming 9 foot off the front of the boat. So this is a 9-foot front deck that leaves me plenty of room back here to do some other things and put a console and everything else. So that should be plenty of room to sit up there with 2 people and fish. All right, so back working on the boat this evening here. Didn't do a whole lot this evening. I'll show you what I did. I had a long day at work. I'm tired, and honestly, I got to get online and get some stuff ordered here. So, like I said, the logistics of this is just, it's something that you really have to consider. So, I got to get a bunch of hinges. I got to do a bunch of stuff. Plus, like I said, whenever I did this project, I had my materials figured tight. And I wanted to make sure I had the big bulk of the stuff in before I start building little things like the console and everything else, because those little pieces sometimes you can kind of finagle around. But I wanted to make sure I had everything figured correctly. So what I did here tonight, I'll show you guys. I just put just cut the floor in is all I did. That was everything I did last night. I just cut the floor in. So I cut it in fairly tight. Like I said, there's going to be a vertical piece of aluminum that comes down off that gunnel. So that'll all kind of be dead space back there. But it'll make the plane of the boat, I don't know if you can see, like right there, that'll go straight down. So it'll look really clean, and then that's where I'm actually going to put my rod storage. I'll have horizontal rod storage going down because I've got so much room here. I'll be able to get away with that. So anyway, like I said, burning up my material quick now, but this is kind of what I got going on the back here. Like I said, tuck the sheet back underneath there. That way I've got room to set battery trays and storage on that back side. So I run it over past where that plane is going to come down, and then run it past this couple inches there, you can see, because there's going to be a solid sheet that drops down in there, and that's going to get welded across. So it'll have a nice clean, this whole area will be like a box, which is going to be ideal because you'll be able to hose it down pretty easily. So with the bow fishing side of things. So anyway, got the live well. So this is the original live well out of this boat. And I've been going back and forth on how I'm going to figure this out. And I think this is what I settled on. So this live well, it's like it was made for this. It wasn't, but it's like it was made for this back transom area. It's the perfect width that if I do a little replumbing underneath there with fuel lines and everything else, I can actually tuck that live well up underneath there, cut a door out, a hinged door, and I'll have a live well. So I'd say that's probably 15, 17 gallons, which is more than adequate. That's about what I was going to build anyway. That'll hold you some fish if you want to, but more than anything, it'll hold my water for, I'm going to tap into that and pull water out of that for my wash down pump. Like I said, so that way I can have water to clean this boat up with whenever we're away from the lake. So that's how that's going to sit in there. So we will actually have a live well in this boat. All right, y'all, so we back at it tonight here. Took a little bit of a trip down to Tennessee with the big blue boat there last weekend, and actually did pretty good. Won 1 hour of an 8-hour big crappie bash. So that was fun. I'll throw a picture up here of a little bit of the tournament. So yeah, anyway, I was down for about a week because I got back from Tennessee, had to go up north about 4 hours and work for a few days. So we're about a week behind on the boat. So yeah, I'm struggling here. Weather's warming up and I need to get it going here. We're getting down to crunch time. So we're gonna slam this boat in. I got a lot of stuff coming in the mail here. I just need to have time to work on it. So anyway, where we left off is I cut the floor in so I can work on the center console, right? So this boat's obviously going to have a center console. We can't do a tiller with the way that the back end's set up. So we're going to do a center console. Be fun. This will be the first center console I've ever owned. They're just not very common around here. But anyway, it gives me the opportunity to do whatever I want as far as building the console. So whenever people ask me how I come up with stuff, well, here you go. I start taking cardboard boxes and taping them together. So this is what we've got here. This is going to be the center console for this boat. As you can see, I have just, tons of room on each side. That was my biggest gripe with center consoles, is that they choke up so much of the boat. Well, whenever you have 100 plus inch boat to start out with, and then you build the center console fairly, we're going to call it minimalistic, you end up with a ton of space. As a matter of fact, I'll just give you guys an idea. This is the center console, and we're going to have 31 inches, almost 32 inches worth of room. Yeah, I gotta move it over a little bit. We're gonna have 30 plus inches to get around it, so plenty of walking room. You want to turn sideways. Okay, so here's what we've got as far as center console. There will be a seat pedestal mounted here. I'm not gonna do a bench. I don't want to have something dedicated. I want to do a removable seat pedestal where I can spin around, do my fishing if I want, or take it out and stand and drive, right? So I'll give you guys an idea here. This is what we've got. This thing is just a hair under 4 foot tall. And I've just kind of got it laid out. I'll give you guys kind of a, let's see, a side profile view of it there. It's got some pretty cool little angles built in with it. So obviously I've drawn it out and I'll show you guys here. So the big wheel obviously is the steering wheel. That's going to set out about 5 inches because of hydraulic steering. So the wheel itself is actually going to set, about like that off the console. But it's going to maintain this angle. This was the important angle to gain. That's actually the only important angle that I wanted to get, because that is a comfortable angle to stand as well as sit and drive for. Everything else just kind of played off of that. So moving over here, you can see this circle. That's going to be fuel. I didn't want to crowd out the top here. It just looked funny if I put the little tiny fuel gauge right here. And so you'll see it's very minimalistic. So I want to talk about that real quick, because I've had a lot of boats in my life. I've owned a lot of boats, and I can tell you all the bells and whistles you really don't use that much, or at least I don't in my style of fishing. Generally speaking, I drive with a tack, okay? And I'll tell you the honest reason is fuel mileage, right? That big boat out there, just a few hundred RPMs and you're burning a substantially more amount of gas. So if you can run down, 300 or 400 RPMs and save yourself, 2 or 3 gallon an hour, it's worth it. And that's, with that motor, that's how it is. And I can only imagine something like this, this 150 two-stroke's gonna be similar. But like I said, that's just personal preference. I run my boats by a tack. I also run it by a speed. Speedometers are a thing of the past. You run them off your GPS now, right? You don't run them off that motor. It's never accurate anyway. Run them off the GPS. So no speedometer. No voltmeter, none of all that other stuff. We're having a fuel gauge and we're having a tack. That's all I'm going to run off of. Obviously, you can see here is a switch panel. I'll show you here. I got this this pretty nifty looking 8-bank switch panel, kind of brushed aluminum. 8 switches in there. That's all I'm going to need for this boat. That'll be more than enough for live wells, wash down pumps, nav lights, anything, interior light, whatever I can figure out. 8 will be enough. I've only got an 8 in that big blue boat, and that's fine. So this boat's gonna have less, obviously. So that switch panel will sit like that. We'll have our tack there. The top area here is if I want to mount some sort of a graph or depth finder. We got a nice flat area there. So yeah, here we go. This is kind of it. I'll talk about the throttle control. So the throttle control is going to be hidden on the side of the console. It's not going to stick out. But what I am going to do is I'm going to profile a little different. It was hard with the cardboard, but you can see it's got this big bezel that goes on it. I'm gonna probably take it out and kind of move it up and around. And so this section here of the console will be built up and out, a little different angle with aluminum, but we'll get to that whenever we build it. I just wanted to get a basic profile of what I wanted here with this cardboard structure. So anyway, there we go. So that's how she's gonna look. But now we just gotta build it. So like I said, this is it's pretty rough. Obviously it's just cardboard taped together, but this is enough for me to get numbers off of and get measurements. So anyway, that's what we're going to do tonight. I'm gonna get the horses in here, get some aluminum set on the table, and we're gonna start cutting out some pieces. I got to get this thing tacked up. We're gonna get it tacked up, and then we can figure out you know, cutting our holes and everything else, because we got a lot of wires and cables and chases and everything else. But once I chew up this console, I will know exactly how much aluminum I have left. And that's kind of the whole deal, is that this is, I know I keep saying this, but this is truly a budget build. And I want to make it as nice as I can, but still definitely budget. So once I chew up this console, that was kind of the unknown whenever I was ordering aluminum. Everything else is real easy to figure, because honestly it's just squares or rectangles for the most part. But once I chew up the aluminum for this console, then we're gonna start welding some stuff down, cutting some stuff. It's gonna go quick. This will be the last big piece here. Everything else is should go pretty quick. So anyway, let's turn that piece of cardboard into a console.